All right, so this tutorial will take you through the process of how to copy an acute angle. You can see off to, again, the left-hand side of my page, I have an acute angle here. We can see that this is an acute angle because this angle is clearly less than 90 degrees, the very definition of an acute angle. This angle right now is called angle B. We are going to go ahead and copy that down below. So the first step in copying an acute angle, or actually any angle, is that we start off very similarly to when we copy a line segment. We literally draw just a giant segment down below. So that's my starting point. I'm going to go ahead and, very similar again to copying a line segment, I'm going to go ahead and start off by identifying that point in the very far left side, also called the vertex of my angle, point B. Because I am copying down below, I'm actually going to name this B prime. Again, that little tick mark or that little apostrophe next to my B, that's read as B prime. And that essentially means that this point is copied. So that's our first step. Our next step is to identify additional points within my original angle. So I'm going to go back to my original angle. I'm going to place my compass, the window of my compass, over my vertex point B here. And I'm going to hold this down firmly so my compass does not move. I'm going to go ahead and move this in such that when I draw an arc along my acute angle here, that it touches both of the rays of my angle. So it intersects this ray down at the bottom and this slanted ray that goes from the bottom left to the upper right corner. I'm going to go ahead and label those points of intersection. This top one I'm going to label as A, and this bottom one I'm going to label as C. So essentially now what we have is angle here, angle A, B, C. I'm going to go ahead and copy point C down here on my copied image. To do that, I do need to copy the distance between B and C. Now, because I just drew that arc, that distance still should be saved on my compass here, but in case it's not, just make sure that the window of your compass lines up to your vertex point B, and then one of your holes in this little sliding tool here lines up to your point C. So essentially what we've done here is we've measured the distance between point B and point C. I'm now going to take this distance and bring it down below to my copied image here. Again, placing now my compass over point B prime, so the window of my compass goes along B prime. I'm going to hold this firmly, and I am going to create my arc here. Kind of running out of space. There we go. That place where my arc meets my line segment that I drew, that point is called point C, specifically C prime, because again, I copied that from my point C up above. The next thing that we have to find is the distance between our point C and our point A. And we're going to use that distance down below to find our A prime. So we're taking our compass, placing the window over point C now. I need to now adjust my tool so that I can measure between point C and point A. So I'm going to adjust my slider here such that one of my holes is directly over top of point A. Essentially what I've done here is I have measured the distance between my point C, where my window is, and point A, where the hole of my slider is. I'm now going to take this down to my image down below. I'm specifically going to place my window over top of C prime here. So placing my window over top of C prime, I'm going to hold firmly down with my finger. I'm now going to take my pencil, put it through that very hole that was on top of point A up above, and I'm going to now draw an arc. The point of intersection between the arc that I just drew and the arc in my previous step here, that point of intersection is exactly where my A prime is located. So I draw a point there and label it as A prime. Essentially, I've copied my point A from up above. It is now called A prime. My last step now is to connect B prime and A prime using my straight edge. And you can see now that I have copied the angle, the acute angle from up above directly down below. And you can see that it is the exact same size and shape. If we were to measure this with a protractor, we would discover that these angles are exactly the same. There's a way that we indicate that using proper geometric notation, and I indicate that with tick marks. I've indicated one tick mark up above, one tick mark down below, and that indicates that these angles are congruent. I can also write a congruency statement, and I can say that my original angle, angle A, B, C, so angle A, B, C, is congruent to my copied angle down below, and that angle is A prime, B prime, C prime. So it's congruent to angle A prime, B prime, C prime. So reviewing my expectations, that first one was that we created our construction. Essentially, we copied the original acute angle. We took our original acute angle here, and we used our compass and straight edge in order to directly copy that specific angle down below. The second thing is that I marked my angles as congruent using tick marks. So this angle up above, my original angle, I indicated that that had one tick mark. And down below, this angle here also has one tick mark. And because they both have one tick marks, that means those two angles are congruent. The last thing is that I expressed congruency of my angles using geometric notation. So that sentence I created over here, angle ABC is congruent to angle A prime, B prime, C prime.